me again, Emay and Visto, your reporter for today's video. Chapter 3 that entitled Theory of Management in Business and Industry, Sound Practice and Fundamental Principles. And these are the topics that I'm going to report. First, the meaning and terms of management. Second, relationships between management and organization. Third, functions management. Fourth, management system. Then fifth, basic principle of management. And the last is the rule of leadership. So, the meaning of management. The word management is derived from the Italian word managerial, which means to train horses, or literally to handle from the French words. Manager meaning to direct household, to economize, and manager, an act of guiding or leading. Okay, let's have our first topic, which is the meaning and term of management. So let's have the attributes of the term management. So the word management may be used to refer to a group of individual or to the process itself. It is most comprehensive meaning. Management is the organization of materials, machines, equipment, and men with a view to affecting the greatest possible measure of corporations in the achievement of the desired result. Okay, here is the first management, which is the art and science of organizing, preparing, and directing human efforts applied to control the forces and to utilize the materials of nature for the benefit of man. So, and the second management is the development of people and not the direction of things. And the third management is the scientific utilization of men, money, and materials to accomplish a desired purpose. And the last management, fourth management, is simply stated and defined as the getting of things done through the effort of other people. Okay, let's move on to our second topic, which is the relationship between management and organizations. In the previous chapter and in the preceding discussion, we mentioned the different and varying definition of organization and management. However, its actual usage, say in the operation of business concern, they are generally interchanged or jointly and separatably applied. So, organization refers to the structure or form of an enterprise and the arrangement of all parts thereof in a manner suitable for use in service management, in the planning, directing, controlling, and coordinating of those elements. So, here are the structures. Here are the structural factors. Better remembered as the 5 M's are men, materials, machines, method, and money. So they are utilized by management or coordinated, directed, and controlled in order to get work performed or accomplished. Figure 1 shows such relationship between organization and management. So, alright, when we say management, so who is management? So, or what is management, rather? So, the traditionally management means one individual or a small group of key people who make the significant decision and keep the policy-making power and function as an absolute power over the organization. In a sole proprietorship, it would be the owner, in a big company, it would be the director or key executive. In the UK, the word management means one individual or a small group of key people who make the significant decision and keep the policy making power and function as an absolute power. So, um, just like leader, but in such an organization. So it means it's called management, manager or management. So how you the one who decide the decision or decide whatever the decision is that. Alright, so what is a good management? So, a company management is considered good when competent men are placed in charge of all business activities. And when they work as a team under the leadership of a strong executive, it is also good when changes in business activity can be effective on short notice. For example, during World War II, that. And then, when is management considered successful? So, kanus aman ang management nga imong makonsider nga kani successful. So, in industry efficiency, which is quantified specifically in terms of the quality and quantity of products produced. When the fewest resources at the lowest feasible cost in a key component of management success. So, the word management is used to describe an industry ability to produce product in with the minimum effort and all the least possible cost. Alright, and let's move on to our third topic, which is the functions of management. So, according to some definition, management involves bringing all the pieces together to that they work cohesively and everyone works toward a common goal. Management specifically perform the following tasks. Number one is planning, coordinating, directing, and controlling. Let's move on to the first following task, which is the planning. Planning is the methodical methodology or for anticipated needs in order to complete tasks with as little mental effort as possible while working. This process is ongoing now. Planning plays an emphasis of preventing delays rather than fixing them. To anticipate and address delay rather than waiting from them to occur before addressing them. Remembering the importance of time, the virtue of patience, and the joy of creation in the essence of planning. So, planning is very important if you have a business because um, uh, you can manage your time, your patience, and you can enjoy what you're doing because you have a plan. You know what to do in that. So let's move on to the second task, which is the coordinating. Coordinating denotes the seamless interplay of the various composing components. It strives for the element used to harmoniously blend together or mesh perfectly. So, in order to ensure harmony in action towards a common goal, coordination involves agreement in purpose and performance. A notable example of coordination is a symphony orchestra, where a variety of musical sound from several instruments made of a varied tone, characteristic and pitches are coordinated or blended together to create melodic music. Incompetence would produce a cacophony of noise rather than music. So, That's the power of coordinating. So we must coordinate on what our leader supposed to do. Um, we must coordinate to have a harmonious action, harmony, to have a very nice uh, workplace, a very nice kanang to have a camaraderie of each co-worker. So we must coordinate to have perfect to have um, uh, nice management. Okay, let's move on to the third task, which is directing. Directing to direct implies focusing all of one's efforts on a specific predetermined goal. Management sets up the courses of action along with which the firm is to move and directs the fundamental elements so that they have a direct influence on the goal direction, provides guidance and identifies the path to take. So directing. So you are direct influence on the goal. So naana kay agianan daan. So muna sa imong specific goal. And the last one, the fourth task is controlling. So control imprises the management use of restraint, supervision, and motivation, knowledge of what is being done, what ought to be done, and what to do to address unacceptable condition is necessary for control. It includes the ability to order corrective action to be conducted when necessary. Control keeps an enterprise's operations within the appropriate channels. So control. Okay, let's move on to our fourth topic, which is the management system. So management are fundamental in operating a business. So in business, plan, method, or procedure are called system. A system is one of the most valuable mechanism or aids of management. So in any line of performance, if a thing is to be done efficiently, it must be done systematically. It properly utilized the system aid in securing the desired result. Here are here's here are the advantages of the proper use of system. Here are the advantages of proper use of systems. So, advantage number one is the system is the introduction of order and method whenever it is applied. So, given the chaos that would ensure if there was no system of filling mail records and other data and everything was just a leaf lying around or piled one on top of the other as it arrived. So, such as benefit in obvious in any office. When a specific communication, for example, needs to be referred to, it would take a long time to find it, resulting in needless time and effort loss. So we must need this. This is the advantage of proper use of system. System is the introduction of order and method whenever it is. And let's move on to the second advantage, which is the everyday work becomes routine through a system. So routine work flows along regular channels and can be handled by least experienced workers. Of course, there is a danger of routine becoming institutionalized and for constructive change to be effective only after extreme effort has been put into place. So, everyday work becomes routine through system. So ana dyan na siya, wala na siya og um, just like us, if we have a routine every day, just like every day murag kulang na nato sa atong kagalingon nga dili nato mausunod atong routine. And the third advantage is system permits those in authority to devote their time and effort to more important work such as planning, attending to major problems, searching for new markets and products and the like. So, comparatively speaking, about 90% of the work is average business concern, maybe class or routine, and once the plan can be safely done by subordinates through an effective system. So, and the last advantage is the system aids in the control and reduction of cost. So, a system based upon a certain purpose and comprehensive plan of action removes doubt and promotes certainty those through cost by known and controlled. A system promotes a smooth running, therefore many unnecessary costs can be eliminated. So that's it. When we say a system, also we have also rules for applying systems. So one must be careful not to consider the system as a total cure for all industrial ills. So many managers in the past have become so interested in systems that they lost sight of the objectives. The result was the development and use of a complicated system so full of red tape that is more than defeats that very objective of instituting it. So here is the first rule, which is the system used in a particular concern should be reflect a basic general plan. So if department heads are allowed to devise this their own system irrespective of the needs of other department and of the concern as a whole, such will inevitably result in duplication of effort waste and internal friction. In order to secure the fullest cooperation, a basic general plan should be devised through the joint effort of the heads of all departments and under the guidance of someone with sufficient authority, which is the manager or leader or something like that. So, and here is the second rule, which is a system must represent a definite and useful purpose. So, in other words, a system that has outgrown its usefulness should be discarded. There should be conscious recognition that system can be changed if the need of improvement arises. So we must disregard some usefulness system or outgrown. Maragwa na gamit. Ato na siyang tanggalan. So, and here is the third rule, which is the maintaining a system must prove worth its cost. So frequently, a system may help materially in producing the desired results, but such as cost that is become a cure worse than the disease. This is a case where the company is system perfect. So, but it become bankrupt due to the cost of maintaining its system. So we must maintaining the prove worth it cost. So maintaining to have a system work our company system. And the fourth rule is a system should be clear, simple, easily understood, and adequate to fit the need, but involving the least and expenditure of time and effort. So we must do our system simple, easily to understood. So dali ra masabtan para dili ta ma miss ma magka di magkasinabot. So we must easily understood. So and the last rule is there should be frequent periodic checking. So these periodic examinations of a system will enable management to find out whether the system is still accomplishing the desired usefulness and whether the rules have been carried out as expected. So, must periodic checking jud sa atong systems for us to maintain our management perfectly. So, periodic examination should be one. Okay, let's move on to our fifth topic, which is the basic principle of management. So, there has been developed in the field of management a body of principles to be applied in the conduct of business. Frederick W. Taylor was one of the pioneers, if not the first authority to formulate principles of management. An automobile is not the invention of any one man, but an aggregation of the invention of many. So the following principle formulated some years ago are considered fundamental to successful conduct of any business enterprises. So here is the first principle, which is the principle of policy making. So definite, clear out policy are essential to effective management. So policy are general plans of action for the conduct of operations. They define the true interests of the company, the ideals to be achieved, and the broadly outline the method to be used. Care must be taken that they are not so idealistic as to be impractical and to be nothing more than pretty something on paper. And the second principle is the principle of improvement and adjustment. So, to be successful, a business must advance. It cannot remain dormant. So, dormant is non-active. So, the management of a company is responsible for the continual development of the business. In any industrial concern, management must be on constant alert to improve the product or service. The company that continually improves the methods and systems progresses, while the company is content with things as they are slept back. And the third principle is the principle of balance. To secure proper development of business and efficiency in operation, a company must be internally well balanced. In one function in a business is given more attention than the other function, the business will get out of balance. It is the duty of the chief executive to keep the company as a whole in balance. In the overall setup, balance is essential. So, and the fourth principle is the principle of relationship of task and accomplishment. A person works best and accomplishment must be he is giving a definite job to be completed in a given time. The work being of a nature for which he is mentally and physically suited. If a man is assigned to work if which he is not mentally or physically fit, he will not prove equal to the work. Management should critically examine its method and organization with the following questions. Do they facilitate top production? Are the placement and employee training method effective? Is the supervision adequate? And the fifth principle is the principle of individual effectiveness. So, individual effectiveness is increased through training and improved working conditions. So, learning correct method and sequences of work enables the worker to do the work accurately, quickly, and economically. So careful instructions as to the details of operation lead to increased output and better grades of workmanship. So this principle has led to training programs, classes in executive and supervisory development and training of the job for workers. And the sixth principle is the principle of simplicity. Yes, all elements which are not essential to a successful operation should be eliminated, and all those retained should be applied in the simplest way. So, the simplest system of the simplest method that will accomplish the desired result is the best way of doing the work. System and method are scrutinized to determine their necessity in the same way that no executive position is created unless it is necessary to operate, or active should be introduced unless it positively benefit the company. So no more executive position, just simply that positively benefit the company. So the seventh principle is the principle of specialization. The specific distribution of work results in specialization of effort and task. General practitioner in medicine would treat all diseases that could afflict person, whereas specialists narrow their field as active and expert in sales, and industrial relations manager specializes in labor management relations. A product engineer specializes in designing product for his firm and seeing to it that this product meet the critical eye of customers. So, specialization. What is your strength, your special skill? That should be. So, and the eighth principle is the principle of standardization. So, whenever practicable, best practice should be determined, expressed in terms of definite unit of standards, and adopt as a pattern for use in operation of performance and in planning and control. So, a standard is a norm, role, model, size, type, quality, or measure that is set up as established so that future things of activities will be expected to conform to it. So, in business, an infinite number of standards can be developed, such as method, processes, tasks, operation time, materials, design, and so on. So, you must succeed. If you don't have standard in your business, you na magpabilin jud ka nga mora jud na imong maabot, makaya. So, in the eighth principle, which is the principle of standardization, we have the two types of standardization. First is the standardization of product. Standardization of product enables to interchange parts of leads to mass production. Work is simplified and costs are reduced, as well as supervision and clerical work being cut out. So, yun siya. So, administration standard. The second one is the administration standard. So, an organization's efficiency is measured in terms of how well it performs at its full productive capacity, and how far it falls below that level. Management has to have a set of measures by which to gauge efficiency, evaluate and control current performance, and estimate and plan for the future. So, yun na siya. Okay, let's move on to the ninth principle, which is the principle of financial incentives. So, remo, remunic, remuneration should be in direct proportion to the value of accomplishments. A wage system should be effective if it provide fair standard of accomplishment such that individuals are remunerated on the basis of their accomplish in relation to the standards set for the task of class of work. In cases where standards are really impracticable, those in charge would base their decision as to incentive to be given on their past experiences. And the third principle is the principle of human relations. So management succeed or fails as human relation in business are intelligently or otherwise handled. So management and labor as are after the same objectives. Both desire fair treatment. Management it is dealings with labor in its dealing with management. Intelligent handling of human relationships require the establishment of sound company labor policy, the creation and intelligent operation of permanent specialized department for personnel and industrial relationship is necessity. So, human relationships. So, we must have that human relationship. And the 11th principle is the principle of planning. So, in order to satisfactorily accomplish anything or importance, there must be planning in advance of doing so. Planning involves making a decision as to what should be done, how much time it should be take, and where it should be carried out. In an office or factory, where much of the work is routine, planning can be carried to a greater degree of the refinement than in a shop where the orders of customer are individually made. So, planning. So the 12 principle is the principle of control. Planning is a little value of less in subsequent control to make certain that the plans are carried. So after plans are made and instructions are given, those in charge must be able to determine whether the work is being carried out as planned. In many cases, determination is done through observation of the work is process of examination of the finished job. Other times, a definite system of control is instituted, whereby work is first issued and orders given and then through observation inspections and the use of records is more as ascertainable. Alright, the third principle is the principle of cooperation. So, the efforts of two or more individual workings of a unit towards a common goal are greater than the sum of the effort of the individuals working as individuals. So, cooperation in business enterprise implies the full utilization of the experience and intelligence of all concerned in various house moving. So, the house to be carried may require 50 men working together. The same house would not be moved by 100 men if these men have unfold of shouldered their burden individually as they please. So, corporation, so cooperate. So, we must work together, teamwork. That's it. So, The 14th principle is the principle of leadership. So, wise leadership is the most important single factor in successful operations. So, we must wise in doing our this business though. This principle holds equally true of the company as a whole, a department or gang or of workers. So, here are the ability to do what one set out to do, the spirit to carry on until the task set in accomplished. So, in the second, thus personality and ability to win cooperation and loyalty. Then the last ability is the skill to direct and control the effort of others. So that is the ability that we need if of the wise leadership. So the fifth principle is the principle of delegation of authority and responsibility. So decisions should be made as the lowest practicable of organization level. In the art of management, one of the fine points in the development of the future executives give a man authority, train him to make decisions within a scope of the authority and hold him accountable for results. Decision made at lower levels mean prompt action as well as the saving of time and effort. So, and the last principle is the principle of utilization of executive ability. So, executive ability can be utilized fully by freeing it of the needs to attend to all routine matters. So, expert. Executive talents is the relief when standard of performance as are set up and definite plans are made. And the executive direct his attention only a variation that are materially good or bad. So lesser problem and routine matters must be delegated to subordinate levels rather than overburdened with data. So it is by concentrating on matters such as this that the executive ability is full utilizer. It means executive of lesser importance also need the principle according to their duties. So the overall heads of big firms such as the General Motors Corporation in the United States and the Soriano Waisia managed firm in the Philippines. So would be an example relieving certain top executive of the divisional duties and responsibility permits them to devote their full time and energy to long range planning and overall direction, coordination, and control. Okay, let's move on to the last topic, which is the rule of leadership. So, uh, leadership is the dynamic element that integrates the various interests in an organization into a harmonious, inspiring, and smoothly functioning unity. Leadership is the spirit, psychological process that provide guidance through personality, character, intelligence, and other tangible characteristics. So, organization principle and management techniques are of the mind method system, timetables, and standards. So, those executives should have first physical and mental health. So, vitality, strength, and endurance are required of executives. Clear thinking and intelligent is either. So, but we say rule of leadership, we must that we have um, physical and mental health. Dapat balance na siya. Di kay, imong physical is weak and your mental is okay ra. Watch, wag dili kayo ta makastand as a leadership because we are weak tanawan. So we must how this executive should have, we must have physical and mental health first para mas madali na to og huna-huna mas dali ta maka solve sa problem if we have that quality. And the second is the intellect, creative, or judicial. So, the leader has a creative mind and can easily envision concept or new plan. He has good judgment, receptiveness, sound perspective, and a high sense of value. So, his intellect allows him to encompass a breadth of interest and aptitude. The leader must be able to rapidly evaluate several aspects of an issue and readily arrive at the right decision. So, and then the third is the personality. So, the executive should have maturity, social orientation, personal magnetism that commands consent, cooperation, enthusiasm, the ability to inspire, persuasiveness, and tact. So, modyo na siya. So, personality. It based on your personality. If you have a lack of social orientation, you must develop that, because in leadership we should have maturity, social orientation, personal magnetism, and so on. We must develop our we must develop that skills or attitude or personality for us to have a good to do good leadership. So, and the fourth is the character. So, the good executive as a leader has integrity and other excellent character traits. So, dapat nindot siya batasan. Nindot iyang character. So, kanang character nga imong masaligan, kanang character nga imong kahadlukan, kanang character nga warag all in one, kanang warag bold siya nga strong, warag ana ba. So, language, the last is the language facilities. So, the leader should not only know, but he should also have the ability to teach and communicate what he knows. So, the leader must know. Dapat na-adjust siya language facility. So, as let me share this experience. Katong nagtan-aw ko og kanang sa tang salida ha. Basta Korean to siya, so warag what's wrong with kanang Secretary Kim. I realized that leadership is also knows different languages, not only in English or in local language, but also in international language for us to communicate in other nation, in other nationality, for us to proceed and to have a business ana. So, dapat jud na atay language facility. And this characteristic of leadership blends the principle of organization and management into functioning whole. So,